Now I get to move over. Hey, everybody, live from Harebrained Schemes Studios in cold, wet, miserable, gray Seattle.
Perfect place for developing a game, because why the hell would you go outside?
That's right. Just stay at your freaking desk and do your damn job. This is the
sunshine?
BattleTech Developer live stream Q&A, which we do sometimes monthly. But we're back. Welcome. Hey, happy 2018. Hope you had a good end of your year. Yeah. And for the people that came out to see us at MechCon in beautiful Vancouver, Canada, we had a really great time hanging out with you. And thank you very much for all of the love and support.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah. What about that? So with me, I'm Mitch Gittleman. I work here at Harebrained Schemes. With me is the creator of BattleTech and our CEO and chief creative hoo-ha, Jordan Weissman. And next to him is the wunderkind game director, Mike McCain. He's taller than both of us.
Right.
That's true.
And he smolders. All right. So, yes, as you can see, Dagger has decorated this place with Valentine's.
I'm wearing a red shirt because it's Valentine's, and the guy with the red shirt always dies. I figure that's what's going to happen here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just thought of it as expendable, but dies is, whoops.
Yeah.
Could
be either
too
way.
Close to home then,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So, we've got a long list of questions. Thank you for your questions that you put on BattleTechGame.com. What was that address again, guys?
That would be BattleTechGame.com.
Could you say it again?
BattleTechGame.com.
All right, good. Yeah. That's where we got your questions from. Format is for the first half of our show. We'll go through 7 pages of questions that you've put on our forums, and thank you very much. Second half of the show, we will go live to chat and take your questions. Before we go to your questions, we thought we would proactively talk about some things that were in our last Kickstarter update. Specifically, let's start, Jordan, with multiplayer. There was a change to our plan for multiplayer. Why don't you just talk about the thinking behind those changes?
Yeah,
please.
By all means. So, as you all well know, it took us a lot longer to get the multiplayer beta out than we thought it was going to. And that process then kind of moved a lot of our development schedule on multiplayer back. And as we started to look at all the pieces that we had left to do for multiplayer, and we were playing a lot of multiplayer, and we were watching you play a lot of multiplayer, and we started to think about everything we had left to do on the campaign, which was huge. We started to really realize 2 things. One, something's got to give, right? We didn't have enough development resources to do everything we originally hoped for.
And we went back to focus equals quality. Indeed,
and the where to focus seemed to us to be both by our motivation and by what we had been seeing in your discussions, that really the focus needed to be first on the single player campaign. The other thing that we realized as we were playing a lot of multiplayer is that it's really fun to play as multiplayer, but it, like tabletop BattleTech, has a lot of RNG, as the hip kids say these days. And so, yeah, that gives you lots of wonderful surprises, which is really fun to play. It also means that in kind of modern competitive play, as we see on, in esports and stuff like that, it's not super suitable for that because, your skill can be augmented or detracted by really bad die rolls or really good die rolls.
It's great for live streamed grudge matches on a stage, though.
It is, and my bondsman will tell you that. Yep. My week's over. I'll have to win again.
You can look it up. MechCon.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's why we kind of felt like we needed to focus on the resources. We need to focus, make sure that the quality was going to be in there, and so
on the single player game.
Yeah, on the single player game, and the right place there that we thought was to back off a little bit on the multiplayer at this point. And then see kind of where the future goes from here after the game comes out, and as people play it and we get feedback and we see what's possible to move forward on, we'll figure out where to augment and add in as we go forward.
And listen, right?
We do listen.
All right, so that is what's going on with multiplayer. Let's talk about Linux real fast. Mike, you want to just take that one? You remember the answer to that?
Sure. Yeah. So Linux is and I feel this pain. Like I know that being in the
minority
statistical, I know that's rough.
It is.
We do need a little bit more time on the Linux version of the game. We are absolutely committed to getting it to all of our Linux backers, we're looking at probably 2 to 3 months after release.
That's the answer there. And we're sorry about that, really.
Yes, we really are.
We don't do any of this stuff lightly. Okay. There was a question about localization. Localization will come out, as we said, after launch, localized version.
Right. Probably about the same time frame as Linux.
Right? Yeah. About the same time as Linux. And for those of you who are asking, yes, we have actual BattleTech fans helping out with localization.
This was something really important when we worked with Paradox and with each of the groups, is to make sure that it was being done by people who really understood the game in those languages and could keep the vocabulary accurate to what's been done there before.
All right, so before we move on to
and all the languages from our Kickstarter we're still doing.
Yeah.
I think there's a question about that. There's no change.
Yeah, no change. Just check our Kickstarter page and you'll see.
Right.
Before we get into your very insightful and thoughtful questions, just one last thing. This is a Q&A. This is not a venue where we make announcements. So anybody looking for ship date announcements or announcements about how we're going to handle post-launch content or anything like that, that's not where we do things like that. We do that in official Kickstarter updates, and we do that in press releases and things like that. This is a Q&A, and we're focused on Q&A. And let's get to professional show business. So I have all of these.
Piano coming in or something?
Yeah, we have. Yes, as a matter of fact, you and I are going to do I think Summer Lovin'.
Oh,
right?
One of my favorites. Yeah.
All right, here we go. So status of the game real fast. Sidorak 001, hey, nice to see you again. Is the game fully functional now, Mike, and you're just polishing it up, or are there other parts under construction?
Oh yeah, the game's done. We're just we just wanted to play it a whole bunch before we let you. No, the game is functionally complete. I guess I'll back up a step really quick. So we released the backer beta in June, I think, right? June.
Yeah, it should.
June of 2017.
Yeah.
So backer beta was kind of a weird term. That it was a beta version of our combat experience. It was not a beta version of our game at large, and so in hindsight, that nomenclature probably could have been a little better.
Maybe
where we are now, though, is a proper beta of our entire game experience. The campaign is fun. We have a lot of people playing it, and this is that critical final stage where it's still buggy. We're working on honing the balance of that campaign. We're working on stability, polish, load times across the board. Content polish, and Andrew's still furiously revising conversations that you have.
Typing words.
Move the coffee cup.
Yeah.
I think the feedback was
keep moving the coffee
we want
cup?
a better view of the coffee.
No, I moved my coffee.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Thank
guys.
you, Dagger, for the.
Anyways,
for the note. Keep going.
That's where we're at. So this, we are still full speed ahead, working on the game, making it better. But the game is the game, and we're really excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's talk about mechs. I'm just going to go through a bunch of topics one at a time. We'll knock them out, and then we'll go. So this is a go sort of thing. Can you add jump jets to any mech?
Yes.
Yeah.
There, that was easy. Thank you, Honor Knight.
Would you want to? That's up to you.
Hey, there's some of us who are big fans of jump jets.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider asked, do certain mechs have unique quirks? You had talked about that a couple of years ago.
We did. This was something that was in initial design docs. It is not something that's in the game.
Welcome to game development. Jordan types stuff, and then we go, yeah. Should we tell Jordan we didn't do that?
One day it might be in the game, but
Okay.
it's not in the game now.
Let's talk about the mech list from the Kickstarter.
Sure.
Right? There have been some changes to the mech list, so we should get everybody on the same page on that. I put a mech list on BattleTechGame.com, and that list is still accurate except for these changes. I'll take it because I'm rolling now. Warhammer and the Marauder are out for ship. The Raven is also out for ship. We're going to hold the Raven until we work more on our sensor warfare. So we're holding that. But we have added in the Black Knight.
Yeah.
And for those of you who care about such things, including people like me, the Catapult K2 is in.
It's very cool.
So there you go. Thank you for that question. Dead Duck 1015 asks, And lastly, will there be tonnage class limits to your lance composition for the single-player missions?
You can, in fact, bring 4 king crabs if you so wish, and pretend that your lance is the deadliest catch, as Andrew does. No, so there's no drop tonnage limit in the campaign. Whatever you're dropping, you are putting on the line, though. I think that it would take a considerable amount of campaign play to gain the resource and availability of having 4 Atlases or king crabs or Steiner Scout Lance, what have you. But yeah, you can drop with what you have.
Yeah. Okay, good. Next part, we just talked about mechs. Now we're going to talk about mech variants. Froze, PHROS asks, are weapon variants still in the game? Can you go into a little detail about how that is represented?
Yes. There are weapon variants in the game.
There are.
And they have different manufacturers, and they have slight tweaks to stats.
And I got to admit, I love using them. I mean, it's really fun for me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it makes it's very satisfying. So there are essentially, there's basically stock, uncommon, and rare weapons, and it's by manufacturer. So certain manufacturer of weapons correspond to specific stat increases. So I don't know my manufacturers, I'm sorry. But, this manufacturer gives you +5.
Plus, we probably shouldn't mention them because, they're all rip-offs of names of existing manufacturers back in the 80s. Anyway.
That was a popular trend back then.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and then there's a rare manufacturer that has that increases 2 stats of the weapon's performance. And it's different for different categories of weapons, so gives you a nice range of how you want to augment your battlefield performance.
Just to be clear, because some of those categories sounds like there is like booster packs. In terms of rarity, that's not the case. What we talk about is just every star system you go to has stores available. And it's just how many of these are available in what stores around the system. And those are not just randomly distributed. They do depend on the affiliation of the system, the
tech level of the system.
tech level of the system, kind of how wealthy the system is, and so on. So.
Right. And as you look at the game and as you're playing the game, the amount of rarity is the number of pluses after the name. So LRM 10, LRM 10 plus, LRM 10 plus plus. Maybe there's a plus 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 in there. We'll see. Okay. And
one thing we don't have is trade-offs, by the way. Better weapons are better.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they're just better. You're not going to have to study it to go, oh, wait a minute, this one's this and this one's this. Because I do that all the time in Diablo 3. It's not that. It's like, oh, this is better. Good. I'll use this.
They're better in different ways, so that's
Absolutely.
the decision you can make.
Right. Ghost Rider asks, are the opponents going to use modified mechs, or are they going to stock mech only?
Most of the time, you're up against stock forces. There's some exceptions, but by and large, stock.
Now
they're not always at full health though.
No, that's a great point.
Sometimes you'll encounter often you'll encounter mechs that have been
poorly repaired,
poorly maintained, which means that they have reduced functionality from the stock mech.
So they have less armor basically.
Yeah.
Pilot skill runs the range too, so that can make a big difference.
Oh, that's right.
In an opposing force.
And you'll know the opposing force's pilot skill. Is that correct?
You won't know their exact skill level,
no, of
but
course not. But you'll get an idea.
You do see their specialization.
There you go. Lots of people asking about salvage. It's a great topic. We just alluded to a little bit of it with the plus and the plus plus and all that stuff. All right, so Honor Knight, a Mech Warrior, Wile E. Coyote, CRL 1981, I don't know if I did that right, Cheon, hey Cheon, Jade Knight, Jade Rook, Kragtor, lots of people ask, please tell us as much as you can about the salvage mechanics of the game. I may have edited their questions down into, tell us about salvage.
People like salvage.
I like salvage. You know where to start with that, guys?
Sure. So, there's another question later in the mechanics, and maybe we'll just merge some of this together, because you start thinking about salvage when you're negotiating a contract, right? And negotiation of contract where you're basically battling, how much you're going to get paid versus how much salvage rights you're going to get at the end of the mission. And then the last thing, which is kind of a result of those, is your reputation gain with the employer. So basically, if you're willing to take some suboptimal results, you'll gain more reputation. But on the salvage side, there are 2 factors to salvage. One is just how many pieces of salvage you're going to get overall, and the second is how many are you going to get to choose versus be chosen for you by the employer.
We call it priority salvage.
And as you move the slider, you'll see both of those numbers change. At the end of the mission, whatever you if you destroy something, it is not in salvage. If you for instance, core out a torso but leave the arms, well, the stuff that was in the arms will still be there available for salvage. The system gathers up everything that's left on the battlefield, and that includes stuff that came from you too, right?
Yeah.
And puts it all into a big salvage bucket.
Our salvage drones are very thorough. They grab everything.
Yeah. Originally developed by Jeff Bezos for Amazon, but centuries later being used for grabbing stuff off the.
Too soon. I'm still getting used to the store that don't have clerks.
Anyway, so it goes all into a big salvage bucket, and you can then, if you've got priority salvage slots, you can go and choose what are the pieces you want to know you get for sure, right? And then the rest of it will be randomly selected from the salvage and moved over to your salvage takings.
Now let's talk about mechs. Yeah, in other words, if I want to try and target a mech to get the most salvage, how do I do that?
Well,
headshot.
Yeah, headshots are always the
shot.
best. And being able to use the called shot mechanics to increase your headshot.
And the other thing that you should know is that we have.
You can also leg them.
You can.
Good.
You can leg a mech. Legging a mech and taking out its head will obviously take it out of the combat. But we have abstracted mech salvage, and this is an important note that I don't think people really understand. You're not going to be getting an Atlas arm or not a vulture, because that's not in this game, right? No. But somebody else's leg, etc. Right? Mechs come in salvage parts.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
And so three salvage parts make a mech.
Right. So, for instance,
little duct tape from Yang.
Yeah.
So, for instance, in the Shadowhawk, if there was a Shadowhawk that you defeated in combat, you'd be able to pick up one or two or three, depending on how many are on the battlefield, pieces of that. If you get 3 pieces, then Yang can stitch them back together into a chassis.
And then you have to load that chassis up.
Right, and those are purchasable as well.
You can also find mech remains at stores, not with perfect availability, but the sort of user experience we're going for is, I got this really cool catapult piece in a mission, and then a couple jumps later, I find I can complete the catapult.
At Wild Harry's used mech parts, you can
exactly.
And while we're here, McCain, can you buy a whole mech in a store?
You can also do that in places.
Okay, so
not cheap though.
No,
not cheap.
No. That's for rich folk.
So we covered a couple of those.
I actually know how to do this shit. Don't worry about it. 2 years of doing this, I think I got it now. Jade Rook, Gazra, and my buddy
doesn't apply to much else of the career.
Father John O'Neill. They all want to know: are there ways to get mechs in other ways besides salvage or in the store? Now we already talked about in the store, right? So how else might I get a mech?
Kamea might give you.
I was going to say
a mech or two.
In the story, in the story, that's the only other way, right? Yeah. So in the kind of in the mercenary career, it's only those two. Story might result in other ones.
Yeah. But other than that, everything else would be spoilers.
And the other thing I mentioned about salvage really quick is how you approach a mission can make a very big difference in your salvage results. So if it's an assassinate mission and you decide that you want to maximize for profit and just send a few fast snipers in, hit the target, get out, great strategy. You probably want to negotiate for C-bill payment because you aren't going to generate more salvage.
Yeah.
And just to be double secret clear, our own mechs that get blown up in combat or taken out of combat, those are also part of battlefield salvage?
Correct. Now, one question that was asked later.
Well, so 2 parts to that question. If you components that no, not anymore.
Well,
so mech, when you lose a mech on the battlefield, you recover the chassis.
I was going to say, that's
and you are able to rebuild it. Components that are lost from my arm gets blown off, I lose the PPC. That comes back to me as a destroyed component.
Right.
Unequipped from my mech.
So. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But one of the bigger changes we had in balancing the game was to give you the tore up chassis back rather than lose it altogether. It was just too big of a hit. So it still costs a ton to fix it. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's going to be busy for a while.
Yeah, but you take the full hit. Yeah.
And since Jordan brought up the idea about repairs and refits, it's time to go to the category of repair and refit. Our buddy Craig Tor asks, very curious how far the weapon item system actually went. How different are weapons from different manufacturers? Well, I think we covered that. I mean, it's basically in pluses to stability damage, the amount of heat that it might do to
Critical.
the enemy, right? Critical damage,
percentage,
that kind of thing.
overall damage that they do. Things.
Now, Gronk 31136 asks, what customizable parts can we add to our mechs besides weapons, heat sinks, jump jets, ammo, and armor?
There's actually quite a few. So actuators can increase your melee performance. Gyros can increase your stability performance. We've got a couple different heat. I think heat banks and heat, I want to say, converters. So there's a category of heat item that increases the amount of heat your mech can generate slightly, and then there's a category that allows you.
Do you mean
to
vent or generate? Because generate's bad.
I mean generate.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I mean your heat, your maximum.
Oh, your max heat tolerance.
It's how much you can. Yeah, tolerate.
Exactly.
I was gonna say yeah.
Sure,
It
sure.
doesn't
Very
affect your
confusing.
heat sinking performance. That's
Right.
what it heat sinks.
It basically just raises the level at
Yeah.
which you'll start taking critical damage.
Yeah. Your shutdown
it-
threshold goes up.
Yeah.
Is a better way to say it.
So repairs,
And there's a couple others. There's like an accuracy. You can get like a cockpit mod to get one extra injury for your mech warrior. Basically a free injury because your cockpit's protected.
Reinforced.
I've never seen that in the game yet.
I can run it.
Man, could I use that? Repairs and refits. Do they only cost time, or what about money?
Time and money.
Yeah,
Time and money.
and time is the killer. Because as you're spending time doing it, you're spending other money elsewhere, salaries, upkeep for the ship, things like that. So yeah, time is a real payoff.
It's like game development, right? You want to be shipping games. When you're not
Yeah.
shipping games, you're not making money. So go back to shipping games. So is that too close to home?
Oh yeah,
Sorry about
way
that.
too close.
Will various extra hard points be added to all the mechs, like the 3 shown the Blackjack's head, side torso, in a Mech Lab screenshot?
Yeah, we've been more generous with harder points than we initially were. Ryan did a pass and added hard points to give some more flexibility with different chassis without. We haven't made
Using
it
the
so that you
character
can
of the
laser bolt
chassis.
whatever you want. But
Yeah.
Right.
No, don't.
Yeah. Now
but-
there's a healthy amount of customization range.
And some of that was an outgrowth of the fact that certainly in the early part of your career as well, you don't have access to everything you want, right? So you lost, the big cannon off of a Hunchback, and you don't have another one in stock. You want to be able to at least put something else, in there to be able to keep it a viable weapon. So we wanted to give players more flexibility, especially in account that you are often trying to figure out, make the best mech you can out of the parts you have available.
It's so fun too.
Yeah.
I've made some very good and some very bad Frankenmechs.
I suck at it. But that is
Putting
part of the fun.
PPCs on my Blackjack was rough.
To me, it's one of the
putting LRMs on my Shadowhawk and making it a Shadow Bolt worked pretty well though.
I really love that aspect of the game because
yeah.
it's to me you have to
the
get
mercenary
really
feel.
creative, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I have these
I
ingredients.
got
What can I
this.
make and get back out on the field?
And I gotta get another mission done.
Yeah.
I have to do damage somehow. I will use an AC.
Oh yeah, putting a
too.
large laser in the spider's torso was a really bad idea. Don't do that. I just took all the armor off of it. It just died.
And that is also fun because it's not just swapping weapons, right? It is playing with armor. You can't change internal structure, but you can change armor quite a bit. And I've done, gone to extremes where I've pulled off a ton of stuff and just armored the guys up like crazy to try to wade through it. I've gone the other side where I've pulled armor down, put in like every space with jump jets.
With jump
Jordan
jets.
has a custom extraction
Spider.
mech
Yeah,
that
I have a spider
it's just
that.
loaded up with armor and jump jets.
That's all. It's got no weapons. It's armors and jump jets, and I use it for extraction missions.
Yes, that makes sense.
You have to pick up the VIP
And
Yeah,
get
believe
'em
me,
off
this
the
is
board.
not all about fielding the heaviest mechs in the game. Different missions will
No.
require very different mechs and loadouts. Keeping going, just talk real fast about how ammo works, will you?
Ammo is a component. You equip it to your mech. It can get destroyed like any other component in battle. Ammo is automatically replenished after battle. So if the component itself doesn't get destroyed, we're not making you buy individual rounds.
There we go. Thank you. Let's talk about the Mech Lab and Mech Tech since we're in there a little bit more. Let's see. What's the maximum number of mech chassis a player can maintain in an operational status aboard the Argo?
Fully upgraded Argo can have 18.
Right, but that's going to take some time to get to.
That takes some
Right,
time.
you start with you start the campaign.
With 6 slots.
Yeah, in the Leopard, right, and then you move over to the Argo, who also starts with 6. but then can be expanded in 2 other tranches of 6, up to a total of 18.
Yeah, as you pair it up. Now, you also have mech storage that we should talk about real fast. The idea behind mech storage is those are the active mechs that are ready for combat.
The one in
Are
bay.
in your bay.
In
Are
the
in your
bays,
bay.
in those 6 to 18 bays.
The Argo is huge, and it has unlimited. It has unlimited
It has a really
storage.
big cargo hold.
It's got a real big unlimited cargo hold. But in order to put things
I think
into
it's
storage, two
made
things.
by Bag of Holding Ink, isn't it? Yeah.
Bag of holding ink. Yeah, I like that. The 2 things. One, when you put a mech in storage, you no longer have to pay the maintenance costs for it because it's not an active mech in your mech bay. So that's a way of saving money. But when you put a mech into storage, you're actually putting the chassis into storage, and the rest of the weapons and components go into your inventory, which means that when you want to pull a mech out of storage, you have to ready it, which takes a couple of days. And then after that, you have to then refit the mech, and whatever you have laying around, you put back on, and that will take time and money too. Okay.
Storage is where those partial salvage mechs that you
Right.
acquire go as well. And it is unlimited, as Mitch keeps whispering, but if anybody in a playthrough can fill storage such that it would violate the Argo's canonical size,
That'll be impressive.
I'll have a sticker.
There'll be a pretzel.
And on our night, we just answered your question also when Kiva talked about on Twitter, which I'm enjoying very much, building a mech from scraps. That's what she means. She doesn't mean scrap armor or scrap pieces. It means battlefield salvage. That just like, I'm just going to put something together because I got to field this bad boy.
And think of it less like a mech part as like the Shadowhawk arm. It's more like we've salvaged 3 ruined Shadowhawks, and they each have enough intact parts that Yang can make it all go.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to keep going. There's a lot to go. So let's
So
talk
it's fun
about.
talking about mechs.
We're still talking about mechs, mech techs. Let's talk about that and how and what they do for us.
It's essentially a resource that you maintain about the Argo, and as you upgrade the Argo, your mech tech rating goes up. Certain events can affect your mech tech rating as well, and that affects how quickly you get repairs done.
But not like, unlike Mech Warriors, they're not individual characters with personalities or statistics. They're just a stat of how fast you can get things fixed.
And we're talking about customization, so we'll keep going with that.
Oh, we got some cool extras in the mech bay now, though. The art, so you actually see like other
Mech techs
techs
hanging
Yeah,
out.
working around. Yeah.
Now they don't. As you increase your mech tech ability, we don't add or remove dudes in the background. So we call that an extrapolation. What? 9 Sticks, I think that's your name. Hey, or Talpini, love that. Talpini asks, will we be able to name our mechs?
Yes.
All right, there we go. Mojo Amok. That one's badass. Mojo Amok. And Mizore, I believe I pronounced that right, is the 3D MechWarrior portrait system from our Kickstarter going to be in a game?
Tis.
Dead Duck 1015. See how I'm rolling now? Can we expect? What can we expect in terms of visual customization for our battle mechs? Paint jobs or anywhere in the game? Paint jobs, heraldry, and so on.
You can customize your company identity. We've got a huge set of emblems to choose from. We've talked a little bit about modding in the past, but I'll just throw this out there. Like, we deliberately kept all of our JSON data and image libraries, like emblems, in an accessible folder. So if you really want like your own custom emblem, you can just like overwrite one of the emblems in the data folder
And then
you
go
can
select it.
have it. A couple of our testers have already done that. It's totally cool. It's all under the arena of modding. Like, we want you to have fun with the game.
Right, yeah, and just to be clear, those wouldn't end up getting shared in a multiplayer yet. That's a different
No,
thing.
that's
This would just be
different.
for your own campaign play.
Good, so nobody can see whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's talk about paint schemes.
Paint, and then you can customize your primary, secondary, tertiary colors for your mechs. Different mechs that you acquire come with different paint schemes. That's where those colors go on the mech. Right now, we don't have an interface to give you more fine customization per mech of what that paint scheme is,
Right.
or even like what individual colors a specific mech might have. But that is something that we hope to add later.
That's the
Just to be
company
clear,
level.
just to be clear, you're choosing a paint scheme for your company overall.
Yeah.
That will then be applied to each of the mechs depending upon the mechs themselves and the paint scheme that came with them.
Yeah.
Right, and those colors that you choose also apply to your leopard and your Argo.
Yeah.
And also those logos that what do you call them? Sigils?
Emblem.
The emblems.
Emblems?
Yeah.
Emblems appear all over the place,
Yeah.
including on your battle mechs, which
Yep.
is pretty badass.
Yeah, kind of think about the paint. It's like the schemes are paint by numbers. and you're choosing which color to put into those slots. Is the way
But you're not choosing the numbers. In-game economy, kids. Alkanar, I hope I'm saying that right, asks, of all the different resources in the game, C-bills, pilots, mechs, time, which is the one you use to control or constrain the player most?
Wow, well, a lot of that depends on your play style.
Well, time is money. So.
Wow.
Yes, it is.
TikTok.
And I do think if I had to pick one, I would say time is the most constraint. But I've also seen players who are super aggressive, and for them, pilots start to become a constraining. Yeah,
Save the metal.
They burn through a lot of pilots, and they can be tough to get experienced ones, and so you have to grow them back. So, but I think overall, even that kind of results in time.
Kiva's been really honing in on the balance of feeling like you've got that room to expand and grow, but there's still that time pressure to not just dilly-dally. And, we don't want you to always, like, the play pattern we're trying to avoid, especially in the early game, is I've got my 4 perfect mechs and my 4 perfect mech warriors, and I'm going to drop a mission, and then I'm going to wait as long as it takes for those 4 mech warriors and 4 mechs to be perfectly healed so that I can use them again. So we're trying to, make it so that you've got to mix up your resources and adapt to what you have. I think the player progression, like how you get more powerful in the game, first and foremost, is getting better mechs so that you can drop with more hardware and do better on missions.
And better mech warriors.
And leveling up your mech warriors.
Yeah, really leveling up the mech warriors is important.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I use Argo upgrades like crazy for that.
Argo upgrades is a long game. Argo upgrades is the infrastructure, right? It's the project that you want to get going now so that you can reap the benefits.
Right,
later.
so you can decrease the time of repair by upgrading the Argos, mech bays, and stuff like that. You can also
speed up how quickly your pilots, mech warriors heal by investing in MedTech bay, for the
exactly.
Argo. And then a lot of these have dependencies, like this ship is in such rattly shape that before you can upgrade the mech bay, you have to upgrade the power systems, and so that kind of classic dependencies.
Scratch Proof and Ghost Rider ask, is there a black market in the game?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not yet.
No.
But the normal market is definitely shades of gray.
Yeah.
But
Actually, I'm going to amend that. There is kind of a black market because there are some events that deal
Oh,
with
okay, that's true.
Well
yeah.
done. That is a good point.
Events do a wide range of things, and they do that, yes. But there isn't a constant black market.
The other thing, though, that we should talk about is that your reputation with different factions will affect the prices of equipment and the hiring cost of mech warriors from system to system.
Correct. As well as other things like the tech level of the system can affect price.
Yeah, I mean, for example, there are mech warriors that simply will not hire onto your crew if your reputation is too low. Okay. Dead Duck again, 1015 asks, regarding the market, are the prices for parts set in stone or fluctuate? Got that one. Boom. Is there a cost to move from one star system to the other?
Yes.
Time and money.
Boom.
Unless you take a travel contract.
In which case is just time.
Yeah. Some contracts pay for passage.
A travel contract, just to be sure. Somebody is paying you to travel to their system and then do the job. Okay? And if you take their money, travel to the system, and then don't do the job, that's real bad.
Yeah, bad reputation. And I've been caught in this one, so... The travel takes time, right? And you may set up a bunch of repair stuff figuring, it'll be done before I get there. It will tell you how long it's going to take to get there, and don't get that wrong.
Oh, we fixed that.
Get there, and you'll that's right. You can pause.
You can wait now.
I complained a lot about this.
It turns out somebody listened to you. It must have been him. Let's see. Do you pay for junk?
And by the way, that's a great example of the phase of development we're at.
Yeah.
Is we're playing the game and
go. Hey, we hate this.
Well, that's really frustrating if I arrive one day before my best mech is repaired. So
so I get to wait. Yeah. Can you trade in a mech chassis with a vendor as a partial payment for when you want to buy?
No.
Yeah, see that? But you can sell mech parts and sell
You
mech.
can't.
You can sell complete.
You can sell components. I forget if you can sell mech parts, but I'll make a more general statement.
I know you can sell complete mechs, and you can sell mech components. I don't think you can sell
parts.
Mech parts.
I'm not sure.
I don't think last build I played you couldn't.
I don't get it.
I'm going to make a general statement. Trying to play merchant is not the way to success.
That's right. This is not Traveler.
Well done. So, We are moving to a new topic. I'm very excited about the new topic. Yes, it is, what do I see, 12:35, something like that? You know what? I want to get through these. These are great questions, and people spend a lot of time doing this, so I'm going to wait to go to chat until we get
Why don't we
through
do a preemptive lightning round? Where we just try to...
I thought this
Okay.
was the lightning
Go.
round.
Well,
all right, tell us
yeah,
all
but
about...
we like rambling, so...
No shit. Gazra asked a lot of questions about the player character. Mike, take us through.
Player character.
the player character.
So you are a mech warrior. The only difference between you and a hireable mech warrior is that you cannot permanently die. You can be laid up in the hospital.
Oh,
For a
Tell
long
me that.
time, trust me.
I had a TPK the other day.
And and so you level up like anyone else. You gain new skills and abilities, and then you have a role in the story. So starting,
Yeah, and there's a
you are
short,
you, and then
A short character background where you choose some things about your background that have subtle but nice impact on, as you go through events and later.
Right. And bonus to your abilities.
Yes.
yeah, your starting abilities are determined by your background choice, as well as some starting tags and your starting company heraldry. So your starting company emblem and colors are determined by your background choice.
That is true, and in the game. Mech Warriors, let's talk about. Daring1 asks, when you level up your Mech Warriors in single player, will it be based on the Mech Warrior XP system or something else?
XP.
They gain
XP.
XP when they go in combat drops.
Right.
You spend that experience to get them new skills.
Don't work them, they don't grow.
So at one point, I think we talked about personality traits where they fight better with
Yeah,
other
it was
Mech
in the
Warriors.
same kind of stuff I wanted to do with Mech Quirks, not in the game.
Right.
Maybe one day.
The event system can cause some emergent
Absolutely.
stuff
The-
based on Mech Warriors tags.
Correct. So they don't have those quirks in combat, but there are events which leverage off of them, and they gain tags, which then can cause future events to trigger.
There are ways you can earn XP without dropping Mech Warriors on missions, though. You can upgrade the Argo to have training pods,
Right.
which
Simulators.
might look familiar to some of you, which allow them to earn some XP while not, with just overtime.
Yeah. It's like on Death from Above. Packrat. Hey, Packrat asks, how do you hire Mech Warriors? What's the story with that?
Different systems have hiring halls. The breadth and quality of Mech Warriors available is also determined by some of the attributes of the system.
Yep.
And you have to have a high enough MRB, that's the Mercenary Review Board rating, which is essentially your global reputation rating, to have a high enough rep to hire the Mech Warriors. Some Mech Warriors that are more experienced, you have to have higher rep.
And there isn't a negotiation. They have two prices. One is they're hiring the cost to hire them initially, and their monthly upkeep.
Right.
Pro tip though, it is cheaper to train your own.
Oh, yeah.
Than to hire a high level Mech Warrior.
Yeah, that's
You might have to, but if you can train somebody up to that level.
All right, lightning round, Mike. What about, don't forget, funeral expenses if somebody gets kivad? No funeral expenses in the game.
But the events touch on it sometimes.
On funerals? Sure.
Yeah.
Mercenary Techie asks, will pilot eject animations be in the game?
Actually, yeah, there's a little eject in it. There's not an eject system, once you eject, it's not like we model your guy and move him
No,
off
it's like
screen.
Mech Commander. They just up and out.
We assume that they're so small they make it disabled.
What is the name of the second special ability for gut skill, and what does that ability do in the game? Is the second ability of guts? I'm looking at the UI.
I
in my brain.
believe it is called Juggernaut, and it. I haven't used it in a while.
It adds a pip, doesn't it?
No, it may or may not give a melee bonus, but when you melee an opponent, it knocks their initiative down by 1.
Okay. Let's talk about
good memory.
contracts. Yeah, thanks, because I had no idea. Hawkeye asked, will the contract system take the type of mission into account in terms of salvage?
Each contract is authored based on what the client's asking for and what the mission is. The highest order determiner of the salvage is how you play the mission and if you actually kill stuff.
Right, but it doesn't have the thematic approach of you're trying to evac off quickly, and so you get less salvage because you didn't have time to pick up the battlefield.
It's assumed that after the battle's over.
Yeah, the Bezos drones pick it up and
salvage
bring it to you.
arbitration.
We have a nice simulation. We're simulating this, but we're not simulating the entire BattleTech universe yet. But in success, Hawkeye asks, Jordan,
tech.
after a mission like the Miner mission, can we file a breach of contract complaint? See my last answer for more details. We're not going to
No,
simulate
but
the entire
I'll put that on
BattleTech
my list for later. That's fine.
Reputation, Ghost Rider again asks, other than special missions and extended salvage rights, what are the benefits of having high reputation? And those are employer-specific?
Access to more challenging missions that they will trust you with.
And
higher pay.
Higher pay and preferential pricing on
Stores.
on stores.
Let's talk about missions. Analyticus. We're going to go with that. Asks, could you give us more insight into the mission mechanic? We've been drooling over one single screenshot where we see different parameters.
I think we talked about that
C-bill,
already.
salvage, reputation, difficulty.
Covered that earlier.
Vanukok Chaos, Rhodium, and Dexium. If you retreat from battle without doing much of anything, what happens? Let's
That
talk
is
about
called a bad faith retreat. And you're not going to get money, and you take a small rep hit.
Right, but you can. But it is sometimes still the right thing to do, because if you're just like, oh boy, I bit off more than I can chew.
Get out.
Yeah, get out quick.
Wait,
And-
take it from me. Get out.
And we do give you a difficulty rating from 1 to 10. There's some skulls on that contract screen now that give you an indication of what you'll be up against, but
Yeah,
you may
watch
still be
those.
surprised. Sometimes additional forces will show up when you're not expecting it. There's an ambush, or you just thought you were better than you
And there's
might actually be.
There's bad faith, which is you left right away. There's good faith where you've really put an effort in. You've taken some damage. You may have achieved some of the objectives, and then you decide I'm taking too much hit. I'm going to back out. And it's actually a really different. Most games don't give you that kind of flexibility, but it becomes an interesting thought process as you're going through the mission about, do I need to pull out?
I've never bad faith retreated.
Really?
I'm too stubborn for that. There's arguably a couple situations where I should have,
Yeah.
but I have good faith retreat.
I'll retreat. Screw it. No, that's it.
I went through a couple, and then I'm like, occasionally I need to think about that, because I was the same at the beginning.
Yeah, right. Lightning round, kids. Insaniac99 asks, will there be non-story missions where we get bad intel, can be ambushed, betrayed by our employer, objective chains, or otherwise screwed over?
Betrayal, as a general rule, no, but certainly your intel is not complete. So
Yes, intel not complete often.
Let's move the conversation over to artificial intelligence, which some people call AI.
These hip kids.
Let's see. Will the AI have scaling levels of competency, with higher rank enemies being more challenging?
No, not
not
really.
inherently on the AI level.
Yeah.
Not at the AI level. They will have higher level
they can
mech
have
warriors in them.
Correct. They get more or less skills. Right.
Yeah. Now, do they use sensor lock, reserved, and related tactics?
Absolutely.
Yes. Boom. We keep going. 9 Sticks asks, will we ever fight alongside AI-controlled allied units?
Yes.
Yes. Let's talk about the story as we roll through this. Juxu asks, is the player's lance always the same at the start of the campaign, or can we influence your starting lance?
Your starting lance is always the same.
Let's see.
It won't stay the same for long.
Yeah.
Right, no. Any mechanics in place that let us flip planetary control from one great house to the other?
Nope.
Not between great houses, but as you progress in the story campaign, you do flip planets from the directorate back to the restoration, which is actually nice because it gives you access to the stores and missions available.
Right. But, and this one takes place in the periphery, so we're actually not fighting over Great House planets at the moment.
Is there a Star League cache hidden somewhere in the game?
No comment.
Definitely not.
Spoilers,
No
sweetie.
comment. No.
Yeah, definitely not. No comment. Will the player be able to have disputes with their employers over breach of combat? We're not taking a simulation to that level, okay?
No, it's back to the other idea. That was a fun one. But no.
Oh,
not
no, they're
this one.
great
Yeah.
ideas. Every idea is great. Every idea is great. Some of them just...
That's not what you tell me. That's my ideas.
That is between us,
Okay.
behind closed
Oh,
doors,
okay.
and not on the internet. Vehicles, air, artillery in the game. Talk about that.
No. Not
Yes,
right
there
now.
are vehicles
Well,
in the game.
Oh,
I mean,
vehicles, yeah.
Yeah,
But
there are
Sorry.
artillery strikes that can occur in missions.
Yes.
And there are vehicles that you go up against. What you don't have is support vehicles or artillery abilities on your side.
Correct.
Sky shadowing ass.
Or in your control, I should say. Sometimes you do have that stuff on your side.
Yeah, and it's
Allied
not a
forces.
player-controlled thing like we had hoped, but, one day.
Boom. And now we go to utter chaos. All right, kids, we're going to your questions in chat right now. Please help a brother out by putting the word question in all caps before your question. And don't be afraid to repeat your question. You're not going to insult anybody or anything. It just helps me help you. All right. Here we go. This room is now in slow mode. Sorry, we're unable to reconnect to chat. That's what happens when you do this. Hang on. Everything is fine. In the meantime, I've got a question here that I can go to. Mitch, how did you spend your week as Jordan's bondsman?
Yeah, do
Jordan,
talk.
what? I blew that
Yeah,
completely off.
really blew it off. Kept using excuses like I have to ship a game.
Yeah.
Instead of like I have to do my laundry, he has to wash my car, all the things that I had lined up because I came away from Vancouver with a long list.
All right, we got our questions back. Let's get off of that topic. Let's see. Can you spread our Valentine's love to the rest of the people in the room? I assume in the other.
Will do. Thank you. Thank
you. Tyler Soundpack. Just, you know what? No. All right. Let's see. Question here. Is there a reason for the removal of the Warhammer and the Marauder? Yes. Next question. How long do you think playtime is overall?
Wow.
Oh my God. A lot bigger than we thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a long game.
It's a long game. It's really, but it's fun and intense all the way through it. But kiss the wife and kids. So you'll see them in a while.
Yeah. And by the way, this is a really good thing, and enjoy yourself. But one thing, we hate answering, how long is this game question, right? I mean, if it's 10 hours, all right, you should probably say it's 10 hours. But believe me, it's going to be worth the money. How about that one? All right, let's see.
And also, some of it's also in your control, right? Because it's how many missions you're doing in between the big story missions depends on how well you feel you want to be prepared, and then of course you can keep doing as many reputation based missions after the campaign is over as well. So there's a lot of
the story missions get harder though. So there's an amount of
you need to buff up for them.
All right,
you
let's
got
see.
a training montage. That
there's a lot of people that probably are late and didn't see the beginning of this. There's a whole bunch of questions about release date. This is not an announcement place.
2018.
Yes, 2018. We will put announcements actually in writing, Kickstarter updates or blah blah press releases, but that's not what this is about. Let's see. Why do you got a jacket on? Because it's cold in here. My hands are cold and stuff like that. Thanks for the question, though. Let's see. What else?
Circulation problems.
Do we somehow not lose our mechs if they're left on the battlefield? Yes, we answered that question. Duncan Fisher, post-launch. In success, all things are possible. Let's see.
That wasn't a question. That was a statement.
Yeah, I know. But I rephrase this thing. Will we share more music? Probably, yeah. Let's see.
The music is awesome.
Really,
yeah, John's done a great job.
Fantastic.
Hearts, John Everest. Yeah. God bless him. Sorry, I pushed a button that I shouldn't have, and now all hell has broken loose on my screen. Does the weather or day or night influence line of sight?
No.
No.
But it looks really cool.
And it affects my visibility, but not my Mech Warrior's visibility.
Biomes have a really big influence on
heat
gameplay.
Is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
If you're on a lunar or a non-terraformed planet, heat. Careful of your heat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
really
why
hard.
anytime I see, it's like a frosty mission. It's like, yeah.
Everything runs hot on lunar because it's a vacuum, so there's no.
Yeah.
Tittles0321 asks, can you announce how much you love me? Yes, I can announce that. You mentioned...
you didn't.
No, I know, but I can't.
Okay.
You mentioned your own parts are put into the salvage bin. Why they are yours?
Yeah, I redacted that a few minutes after because I forgot about some of the changes we made. Yeah,
right. Those show up as
if a part of yours is destroyed, it's destroyed, and if a part of yours is not, you're still reclaiming your stuff from the battlefield.
Bad Cop DK asks, is there a level cap on your Mech Warriors?
Level cap? Yeah, there's an effective cap.
You can max them out.
Yeah,
you can max them out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that happen yet, but it is theoretically possible.
I sure look forward to it. Let's see. There are no double heat sinks in the game. I'm just going to get there right now. Let's see.
Definitely not.
Some of these we've already answered. Can you reduce your reputation low enough to become a villain?
No, but we'll contact Peter Molyneux and get back on it.
Let's see. Will MechWarrior XP to level up be linear or progressive? It is progressive.
It is.
Let's see. When's our next backer kit update? If you mean like backer update, like a Kickstarter update, as soon as we're ready to say something, at this point, I just want to point out everybody is working their asses off on making the game, and even taking this hour out is taking an hour out away from making the game. So believe me, when we have information for you, I promise we'll give it to you.
Not that we don't love talking to you, because we do.
No. We love talking to you, no question about that. Let's see. Got that. Will there be defensive missions?
Yes, yeah.
In the context of, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're
And
both,
defend, Escort is also a defend mission
right,
as well.
yeah. And actually, they're really interesting because you're like trying to stop buildings from getting destroyed, or people, units from getting destroyed.
If you, where'd it go? There. If you retreat after a mech pilot ejected, do you leave him behind?
No.
No, he ejected and
Right.
He's really small.
But when a mech dies, the pilot may or may not have died. You'll find out when you get back to the ship to see if they got back.
Yep.
When they eject, they get back. They will return with whatever wounds they took before ejection.
Yep.
Let's see. Got that. Answered that. Answered that again. Hey, maybe you guys should watch the whole thing. Can we get an after-action report of someone's campaign playthrough to tide us over through release? You know what? Here's the thing, and I mean this incredibly respectfully, but tiding you over through release is actually not our primary concern right now. Getting you your game is our primary concern, and I mean that with all the love that I can possibly tell you.
All the
But
hearts
our
that
focus
Robin
has to
put
be-
up there.
Yeah, we have to deliver your game. So anything that's not that is going to be tertiary, not even secondary. And I mean that with great love. My heart is beating very hard as I say this. Is the campaign day-to-day turn-based or real-time based? So, time passes. It's not like click for each day.
Right.
It's
So
basically day by day.
yeah, but once you start, kind of time will start rolling in the sim game. Anytime you take an action, it stops time. So it's not like you're worried about I'm in the mech bay too long and time's fleeting. Anytime you do something, time stops and then you restart time. So
Is the Argo ever in danger? Asked Misuhato.
there are events which can impact the Argo, but it's like you're never worried about it blowing
No,
up.
we're not going to do ship-to-ship combat or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that. Somebody seems to need clarification, Don't Monkey, on how salvage for ammo works.
So ammo is treated as a component, right? So it's never like if you go into a mission, you can run out of ammo. But if that component is not destroyed, if the ammo component is not destroyed, it's magically refilled when you go back to the ship. All right? If it is destroyed, then it has to be replaced. Hopefully
It's
that
like the
clarifies.
ammo loading container system. Is the component.
Let's see what else. Are we built for collateral damage? No, we are not going to simulate the entire BattleTech universe.
One game at a time. One game
Yeah.
at a time.
Oh, yeah. We got to ask this question. It's very important. Quads.
In success.
No, actually, quads are now completely off the table. Not even in success. There, eat that. All right. That's probably
means
not
that
true.
nicely.
Now I'm
He's
pissy.
being
Now
pissy.
I'm pissy.
You see what we have to deal with?
Let's see what else.
And it's Valentine's on the day he should be expressing his love for you.
Oh. Okay. Let's see. If you hire a mech warrior, will they ever come with their own mech?
No.
No.
No. They come with their meat. Let's see. If I sell a PPC to vendor for X, how much could I have bought an equivalent PC from the same vendor for? 200% of X? More or less?
It depends on the system, but
Yeah, I don't have the number on the top.
You
of my
always
head.
sell them for a lot less than you can buy them for.
Jacob Side asks, who has the better beard? I'm sorry, that's a vote. Chat vote right now. 591 rock, 591 roll. What else we got here? Yep. Oh, there's a bunch of poor quads thing in here now. I don't know what happened.
See?
Blew this freaker up. See, look at me watching my language. Not bad. Forker. Let's see. Already answered that. Already answered that. Any news regarding PDXCon? Yeah, we want to go. Wouldn't you? It's in Sweden.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. Let's see. Can you mod mechs into the game? Yeah, our JSONs are open. Go to BattleTechGame.com. There's plenty of people talking about that right now. Okay, this one keeps coming up. I heard you're coming back to Death from Above on Hyper RPG on Twitch, Mitch. Are you girded for the inevitable trolling? I'm coming back to help plot, and maybe Lord Commander Mason Gerlach, the old, may come back. We'll see. And am I ready for the trolling? Oh, just bring it. Let's see. Question list. Oh, yeah. One other important thing. This is a love letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, hand me that. You see this? This will put me in the hospital. But it was a gift from Commander Dunsale and Iomi. This was a beautiful Valentine's gift that they sent to the team. It's a truffle with all sorts of poison.
Yeah, can I eat it then?
Yeah, eat it out right there.
Eat
Give it to the kids. There you go. Chew with your mouth closed, though, okay? Yeah, good, right? So thank you very much, and thank you very much for the reminder to thank them because...
Well, and thank you, Commander, for just all the help.
Years of
the
service.
years of help. And
actually, that's a great point.
It really
thank
is.
you very much.
You
Here, Morado salute, kids.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Really?
That's how you do it.
Okay. Anyway.
AJ did it, so that's how we do it, and we do what it
Deeply appreciated all the years of help.
Yes.
On every front imaginable.
Nice. We have 4 minutes, which means we can do more stuff. How do loans work?
They're out.
You don't get loans in the game.
Yeah.
Don't go bankrupt.
Yeah, originally we had the idea that if we
could
really ran
forgive
it down and you then you can do a loan and it was again fun stuff like our quirks that got cut. So now you go broke, you're done.
We warn you ahead of time though.
Oh yeah,
It's on you.
Lots of warning.
Can you choose to betray your employer for monetary or salvage gain?
No.
No, but I love the idea, and in success,
Yes.
all things are possible. Hey, Mikey, are flamers still 3-shot weapons, or do they have some other mechanic now?
We may have more than 3 charges, but that's still the base.
Yeah. Let's see. What else you got? Hey, what's your favorite animation in the game?
Oh God, Holly's done so many good ones. It's like the whole bunch of new fall downs came in that are so exciting.
Yeah.
I still love the Shadowhawk punch.
I was gonna say
It's my favorite punchy mech.
Yeah, and there's something about this. You don't see it very often, but the Atlas where it kind of just comes down on top of somebody with a punch is just awesome because they just end in smithereens. And some of the jumps are great. And the other thing I think that's that is not technically an animation, but it's just super cool. Is this is more on the tech artist side for like Steve and the tech artist. But the mechs, actually, their feet actually sit on the terrain the right way. Their legs and feet. Yeah, the IK is just
IK
awesome.
stands for inverse kinematics.
And it's like the first time that mechs ever are standing actually on the real terrain. It looks great.
Yeah, at least in this game. I mean, we had it in Mech Warrior 4. In a game like ours.
Better here.
Let's see what else. Can mechs dance?
No.
I just want to let that sit for a minute. Let's see.
I'm not in success. Even that's not possible.
All right. A lot of people are asking, or one person is asking many times about the next novella when that thing's coming out. Do you know about that?
I don't. I've written Mike. I will write Mike again. The challenge with wildly successful authors is they're hard to get hold of.
Wildly successful.
But yeah, he owes us to us. He knows he does.
I think the next one is actually in editing.
I think 3 is in editing.
Yeah, no, we've got. I'm
and 4
working
the
on
final
the fourth one, trying to get the fourth one.
I just want to get this one out. All right, so let's see what else we got there.
We got a cool cover image for 3 too.
Nito, how close to bankrupt will we be operating? I think he means in the game.
Exactly. I thought he was talking about us. And yeah,
yeah. Move on.
Yeah. How close it really? It depends on how you're playing. I had one. This was about a month ago, and it was very frustrating because I was I had one. I was like down to my. If the next monthly report came up where I had to pay for the overhead and the mech warriors, I was going to go bankrupt. And so I had time to get one mission in, right?
Nice.
And that mission was it needed to save my bacon, and it crashed. But
I mean, so the thing about money,
the dirty laundry was.
this was a month ago. But it was that much of a nail biter. I needed that mission. Yeah.
The thing about money is it's all about restraint. It's just like real life. Like you can go on a spending spree.
Let me tell you,
go broke.
As a guy who's gone on a spending spree and gone broke, yeah, that really.
You can always do that. So if you're not patient enough with your acceleration, you think, "Oh, I'm gonna go get everything." You're gonna be operating without much in the tank. But If you're restrained in how you sort of earn and spend, you
This whole
can
restraint
grow a
thing.
healthy mercenary.
This whole
And
restraint
it
thing
also
is so
depends.
not happening.
It also depends on how quick you put yourself up against higher challenges. As you know, the story missions are tough, and the contracts are have ratings. And if you're like, I really want to get that higher payout, I'm going to go take that tougher contract, and you get your ass handed to you, it can take a bunch to recover.
Yeah, done that too.
Yeah,
You know what I did for a while is I just started doing difficulty 1 and 2 missions for quite a while, and just sort of do that, and I
Build
realized
up.
this is not my nature. I cannot maintain this. All right, it is 1 o'clock, which means we are out of time. Let's see. No, we're not going to have a twerking Irby. Let's see. The last thing that I saw was the last things that we showed of the game. Was that the final visual level of the game, Mike?
Oh.
I thought it was, but
Take
it's
your
better
hands
now.
off the game.
The team just keeps raising the bar.
Yeah.
The game just looks amazing. The new camera system is just jaw-dropping. It's very visceral. It's really
At least done
exciting.
some awesome stuff with the space travel now too.
Oh, yeah,
Arrive
yeah.
at a planet. That was nice.
Yeah.
Like,
And so we'll leave you with those teases. But yes, we've done some work on the cameras in the game to make them more dynamic and cinematic. And they're also under your control as well in the options menu. So with that, with love, hands on hearts, gentlemen. Oh, yeah, for a minute I thought you were a Time Lord. You're putting it on both. we say thank you very much.
Thank you.
We love you very much, and we will see you later. And we are outie.